Today, we're going to look at something pretty wild. What happens when four huge scientific breakthroughs all get announced on the exact same day? It's a journey that's going to take us from our own DNA all the way out to the stars.
For most of us, it's just another Wednesday. You're grabbing your coffee, heading to work. But in labs and observatories all over the world, today is a massive day, a day of revelation.
First up, researchers have just found a hidden weak point in our DNA, a discovery that might just reshape how we understand diseases that are passed down through families.
At the very same time, another team of scientists has completely torn up and rewritten the origin story of complex life on our planet, pushing the date back by 1 billion years. Yeah, 1 billion with a B.
And in yet another lab, neuroscientists just flipped a century of biology on its head. They found out our brain cells have a secret power source we never knew about: fat.
And just to top it all off, tonight there's a rare cosmic show happening right above our heads, one you can see from your own backyard. So, from our genes to the galaxies, let's break it all down. We're going to start at the smallest possible scale I can think of, inside the nucleus of our own cells, with a brand new vulnerability that scientists just found in our DNA.
Okay, so you've got these things called transcription start sites, or TSS for short. Think of them as the starting line for a race for every single one of your genes. It's the exact spot where the cell starts reading your genetic blueprint. For decades, we figured these spots were pretty stable, pretty reliable. Well, it turns out they're not.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Look at the gap on this chart. Scientists dug through over 200,000 human genomes, and what they found was wild. The very beginning of our genes, those first 100 letters of code, they mutate 35% more often than any of our models ever predicted. This isn't just a small mistake in our math, it's a huge, previously invisible genetic hotspot. So the really critical part is when these mistakes happen. They pop up during that flurry of cell division right after conception. This creates what they call a mosaic pattern, where some cells have the mutation and others don't. This means a parent can carry a really harmful mutation and pass it on without ever showing any symptoms themselves. It's been a total blind spot, especially for genes that are tied to things like cancer and how our brains develop.
The study's author, Dr. Wiegorn, puts it perfectly. Our tools for finding disease-causing genes are basically designed to spot places that have unusually high mutation rates. But what if the normal rate we've been using is just wrong? It means we've been missing vital clues. This discovery forces us to completely recalibrate how we hunt for the genetic roots of disease.
Okay, let's pull way back for our next story. We're zooming out from our own DNA to the 4 billion-year history of life on this planet. And that history book just got a major update.
The big question has always been this: when did super simple cells, like bacteria, make that massive leap to become complex cells, the eukaryotes, which are the building blocks for every animal, plant, and fungus, including you and me?
So the old story, the one you see on that top track, always tied the start of complex life to when oxygen flooded the atmosphere, about 2 billion years ago. It made sense. But there's new research on that bottom track just blows that idea out of the water. Using a totally new molecular clock method, scientists found our ancient ancestors started getting complex features almost 1 billion years earlier, 2.9 billion years ago, in a world that had no oxygen at all.
They've named their new model COM. Basically, it suggests that our super distant ancestor, a simple microbe, started evolving all these complex bits and pieces first, and the mitochondria, the famous powerhouses of the cell that need oxygen to work, they were actually a late addition. They only got absorbed after the planet's atmosphere changed. So what does that mean? Complexity doesn't necessarily need oxygen. It just needs time.
From the depths of ancient history, we now snap right back to the human present, and we're diving deep into the complicated machinery of our own brains, where another long-held belief just got completely debunked.
Every single biology textbook tells you that neurons, your brain cells, are incredibly picky eaters. They only run on sugar, on glucose, period. Well, guess what? That's wrong. New research shows that neurons can also burn fat for energy. And even crazier, when they're in a pinch and need some extra fuel, they can actually make their own fats by recycling their own parts.
Now, this isn't just a fun fact. It could have huge implications. For a rare neurological disease called hereditary spastic paraplegia 54, a broken protein actually blocks this whole fat-burning pathway. The neurons basically starve and get weaker. But in the lab, researchers found that if they gave these damaged cells special fatty acid supplements, they could get around the blockage and basically power the cells back up.
And here's the most amazing part. How long did it take for this to work?
Just 48 hours. In 2 days, the damaged neurons started getting their energy back and functioning more like they should. This breakthrough doesn't just rewrite our textbooks, it opens up a whole new potential avenue for treating neurological damage. It's incredible.
For our final story today, we're taking our last and our biggest leap yet, from the microscopic world inside our heads all the way out into the vastness of the night sky.
So tonight, the almost full moon is going to pass directly in front of the famous Pleiades star cluster, an event called a lunar occultation. If you're anywhere in North America, you'll be able to watch as the edge of the moon just blots out these bright stars one by one. While you can definitely see the cluster near the moon with your naked eye, if you have a pair of binoculars or even a small telescope, you're going to get a spectacular view of these stars just winking out and then popping back into view.
So, let's just pull it all together. A single 24-hour period has stretched our view from the very code of life itself all the way out into the cosmos.
Think about it. We've seen a newfound weakness in our own DNA that completely changes how we have to look for disease. A brand new origin story for complex life that fundamentally changes how we see evolution. A hidden fuel source in our brains that offers real hope for new therapies. And a beautiful celestial event that reminds us of our tiny, amazing place in the universe.
Any one of these discoveries would be a world changer on its own. But seeing them all arrive at once just highlights the incredible, breathtaking pace of human knowledge. It leaves you with one simple, but really profound question. If this is what we found out today, what in the world are we going to learn tomorrow?